Stephen Sashen from zeroshoes.com and zeroshoes.eu and zeroshoes.co.uk. This is my monthly third Tuesday of the month, Ask Me Anything. My apologies for anyone who did not hear about this because it wasn't, anyone moved that around, wasn't promoted the way it's supposed to be. But anyway, here we are. If you are watching this live, and if you're not, hold on, I'll tell you what to do about that. But if you're watching this live, this is an Ask Me Anything where you can ask me anything. You can put your comments and questions below. I will see them there on my screen over here, and then I will respond. But since this wasn't promoted really well, maybe there's not anyone going to be here. We'll find out. If you're not watching this live, you can still put your comments and questions below or wherever you put comments and questions, and somebody, possibly me, possibly somebody from our customer happiness team, will respond to you as quickly as possible. Speaking of our customer happiness team, if you have any questions, if you need any support in any way, reach out to them directly. support@zeroshoes.com or support@zeroshoes.eu or support@zeroshoes.co.uk. You can see we have 3 different sites now. And similarly, if you have any requests for features or suggestions about things that you want, a product that you want to bring back, a product that you want that we don't have, some colors we want for existing products, whatever you can think of, go to zeroshoes.com/feedback to leave those suggestions. That is how our product team knows what to do, is by hearing your feedback and responding accordingly. So whatever you can do there, just go to zeroshoes.com/feedback. So otherwise, we're here just, again, you can ask me whatever you want about barefoot running, about the transition to minimalist footwear, about, hey, how do you decide on shoe colors? I'll ask about that. About what I'm making for dinner, about, foot health, foot strength, whatever you can think of, I'm here to respond. Chris asks, how do we decide on shoe colors? I like some of the older color schemes better than new ones. That's one of the, literally, I was thinking about that this weekend, because one thing that happens, while we might like some old ones better, the other thing that happens is familiarity. We get familiar with something and therefore we tend to overvalue it. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I know I've done that in the past. So we have a whole new team that we brought on the product side that you're going to start seeing the impact of what they're doing on colors. Actually, I'm not sure if it's starting now, or more accurately, starting in about 3.5 weeks, 3-ish weeks, when we're launching new color or new products for the spring of 24. How did I get to be 24? But you'll especially see it in fall of 24, spring of 25, fall of 25. And so it's a tricky one, to be candid, because on the one hand, some people like pop hot colors. Some people like more conservative things. Our websites are our number one customer, if you will. So we're our number one retailer. And we know that when we poll people, and I'll come back to that, people tend to, lean more towards some of the conservative colors, black, white, brown, gray, etc. And then the other issue is whether it's a product that's selling a ton versus a product that's selling a little less. And then there's minimums where we have to buy a certain number of pairs of certain colors or different colors. So it's a complex thing. But there's one other thing we often do is survey people. So we will often, when we're picking new colors, put out a survey. You'll usually go to about 10,000 people that are on our email list, and we'll ask them, rank these in order of your favorite. We make decisions based on that as well. In other words, it is not science. It is not even art. It is doing the best we can, knowing that we're not going to make everybody happy all the time, which pains me, but is sadly one of the realities of life that I have discovered and I'm trying to get a little more okay with. It's the best thing I could say. Look, there are product colors and products that we no longer have that I really miss. But they didn't, some of the old colors that we don't have any longer, we don't have them any longer because they didn't sell really well. Or we don't have them any longer because we're doing an upgrade where a version of that color is more popular moving forward. I'm going to keep ranting about this for a second. There's a whole service called WGSN, and they tell you what colors are going to be the hot colors in, like 12 to 18 months from now. And you may ask yourself, how do they know? And you may think to yourself, maybe just because they're saying that, those are going to be the popular colors. And you may be right. I think there's a lot of the fact that so many people in the fashion and footwear world have accepted WGSN as the oracle of color, has made it work, because it's a bit of a self-reflective thing, self-fulfilling prophecy. So anyway, a lot in it is the best thing I can say. And I hope that's helpful. Pritam says, I'm doing all my training and racing for full marathons in the Z-Trek sandal since many years. I've developed a lingering pain in the second metatarsal head of the right foot. A month of not running has not made a difference. I can still run. Pain is a 3 to 10. Doc says need more cushioning. Okay. I think your doctor's probably wrong. And here's why. What's the story with your left foot? So whenever someone has a unilateral issue, it usually indicates something going on in the form that makes it happen on one foot and not the other. And I can't tell you what it is without, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on the internet, but what I have seen when doctors recommend more cushioning, what does that mean? You know, the irony is when you have cushioning, especially more cushioning, then you tend to land harder. Your brain is looking for feedback, and the way that it tries to get it is by stiffening your leg and landing harder. And so cushioning could actually make it worse. Now, it may be that it might be helpful for a little while to do something, like a metatarsal pad or something, just to be helpful while it heals. And it may be helpful to see a body worker of some sort. But again, I have no idea. What I would say is take a look, if you can do it, if you can run, get someone to videotape you running in slow motion. Like if you're using an iPhone, set it at 240 frames per second in slow motion and film you from the front and from each side and from the back. And see if you notice, and look at it in real slow motion and see if you notice anything different with what you're doing left foot to right foot. The way this whole business started was that I had gotten back into sprinting after a 30-year break, was getting injured all the time. And someone suggested I run barefoot. And if you're running barefoot, and frankly, in the Z-Trek, it's as close to barefoot as you're going to get. It's just a thin layer of 6mm layer of rubber between you and the ground. It's not doing anything, just providing some protection. Running barefoot, good form hurts, bad form feels bad. And I discovered something that felt bad, namely on my first barefoot run, I ended up with a big blister on the ball of my left foot. My first thought was not, hey, what's wrong with this nonsense, this whole barefoot bullshit? It was, hey, how come my right foot's fine? And oh yeah, my left leg is the one that tends to get injured more often. So my second barefoot run, when I had a big blister on the ball of my foot still, gaping hole, I figured I would try to run and see if I could do it in a way that didn't hurt the gaping hole. Because if I could do that, then I probably wasn't doing the thing that caused the problem to begin with. So I thought I'd give it 10 minutes. 9 minutes and 30 seconds of agony later, in one stride, it all changed. And what I was doing, and I didn't realize it at the time, my left foot was overstriding, was reaching too far, pardon me, I get the hiccups, too far out in front of my body and landing on the ball of my foot, because I'm a sprinter, so you land on the ball of your foot. So I was basically putting on the brakes every time I landed on the ball of my foot. Well, that one stride changed that. I stopped overstriding. I started getting my feet underneath me. My core got a little more engaged. I was leaning forward just a tiny little bit, and my running felt faster, easier, lighter, and that never changed after that. Now, I'm not saying it won't ever change, after one moment for you. I'm just good at new movement patterns. But suffice it to say, I love unilateral problems because it makes you wonder what's going on with the good side. Now, one last thought about that is if you're doing a little bit of a run with the paying attention to the good side, then, or more accurately, you want to pay attention to the good side. Don't think about how do I fix the bad side. See if you can pay attention to what the good side is doing. And your brain might kind of just figure it out and get the good side or the bad side to come along for the ride. There's a whole bodywork style called Feldenkrais technique. And this is how it works. You have a problem with your left arm, you're going to do movements with your right arm to show what feels good. And then you switch to the other side and the left arm is like, oh, right. I get how to do that. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. Russell says, hi, hello back at you. Pardon me, One Love 714. What's your opinion on Birkenstocks? I don't wear them, but so wider foot shaped. I love that. Basically flat. I love that. There's some arch support built in. For certain people, that's fine. For other people, not so much. Excuse me. It takes a while to break them in. Once people break them in, they really love them because it's, using their foot. I think there's still more cushioning, or not cushioning, more between you and the ground than I would prefer. But, my opinion on them is irrelevant. If you like them, enjoy them. What I would say is when you get a chance, if you're wearing them, get out of those and get, bare feet on the ground or into something like Xero shoes where you're getting more feedback and not supporting your arch. And I'm putting air quotes on support because when you have an arch and you push up from above, that's what breaks it. Your arch is made to support you if you let it be strong enough, and it becomes almost strong enough by using your feet, letting your feet articulate. So do with that what you will. Chris, do I find the rising cost of Huarache sandals a little crazy? I don't know what you're referring to because I'm not seeing that. I don't. I don't know. But if there are suddenly Huarache sandals that are crazy expensive, okay, people make decisions for how they want to run their business. I will tell you something funny though. My wife made one of our do-it-yourself sandal kits way back when with about $500 of Swarovski crystal. To be clear, we got them for free. I wasn't going to go buy $500 worth of crystals to put on a sandal, but she did it, and they're super, super cool. And I keep saying, we want to make like the world's most expensive Huarache sandal, like $10,000 with a bunch of gems and crystal things and diamonds and whatnot. Not because we're going to sell it. I mean, I want to do it as a fundraiser for like the Tarahumara or maybe some other thing that we find where we want to do it. But I want to, take the simplest thing and make the most expensive version of that just because it gets attention. There was a guy, pardon me, there's a guy who had a website called FARC.com, F-A-R-K. And they were a news aggregator. And he used to do this great lecture on how to get in the news. He says it's easy. When it's hot, say, hey, look how hot it is. When it's cold, say, hey, look how cold it is. Make the biggest thing, make the smallest thing, make the cheapest thing, most expensive thing. So it's a great strategy just for getting some attention. And in what we would do is, help people with that. So anyway. Max with a Pax. Howdy, I've been using your products ever since your Shark Tank debut. Absolutely amazing product. Thank you. Living on the rugged, wet Oregon coast. I adore my Xero shoes. Now I seek a pair that can withstand this environment. Keep my feet dry. Recommendations? ? Yeah, wait for 3 weeks. So we already have the Mesa Trail waterproof. If I remembering, I think that's out. We're adding 1 or 2 more waterproof products coming out for our spring product launch. So stay tuned. If you're not already on our email list, get there. Just go to xeroshoes.com/newsletter, and we will make sure that you hear about this upcoming product launch sale. Because when we launch products, we do them at a bit of a discount because we want to get them out the door and let people get them on their feet and start spreading the word. So that's going to be happening coming up soon. I don't have a specific date yet. It's going to be middle of March-ish, but I don't know the exact date. Okay, let's see. Chris, Xero made a pair of boat shoes I still wear. Fantastic shoes. I love them. So that was one of the favorite shoes in the office, but like I was talking about before, did not sell very well. And we only had a limited amount of space in our warehouse. So if something was taking up a bunch of room, it didn't give us room to bring in other stuff that we knew was selling better. So that's why it's not here. But go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and say you loved the boat shoe. And maybe, we can find a way to bring that back. Mina, peace and blessings. Please update me on the status of kids Xero shoes. So we have a couple right now. We're bringing in some more. I don't remember when because I don't track in my head when stuff is coming in, and we are looking to go into smaller sizes and continue doing that. I think we're launching some new kids things. I don't remember. Definitely for back to school, maybe sooner, but I don't recall. Again, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and leave that. Oh, Xero slippers, Mina asks. Hold that thought. Where is it? Come on. Oh, I've lost. Something. What's all? Oh, there's a what? They were doing some work on the roof or on the ceiling apparently. So this is the Pagosa. This is about as slipper-like as you're going to get so far because you can step on it and slide in like this, or you can just slide in. And there's another one we have, the Sunrise, which is a microfiber version of the same thing. So what else are you looking for other than something like that, Mina? You can go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and send us a link to a photo of something that you would like to see. And then that will help us know what to do there. Oh, let's see. Chris, great story about the Huaraches. There's a company that makes $1,000 flip-flops. Oh my God, you have to send me a link about that. I definitely want to see that. One Love 714. When's the Denver leather coming back? Another great question that I don't have an answer to. Send an email to support@xeroshoes.com, our customer happiness team. They will know that because I do not. Bloodhound 0827. I know work boots have been in the works for a long time. Any updates you can tell us? No-ish. I don't have an update saying, hey, here's when they're happening or here's what the status is per se. Here's the ish. The reason it's taking a little long, it's taking longer for two reasons. One, very challenging to make a fully technical work boot that still gives you the natural movement benefits that you want so your feet will feel fine at the end of a workday. And the second one, there's an opportunity that was presented to us to make a shoe for a very specific use case that pardon me, I've got a text that I got to respond to. Sorry. Yikes, this is kind of urgent. My apologies. We got an opportunity to make product for a very specific use case that, frankly, if it does what we think, and so far the indication is that it is, that it will make the biggest difference for our company that we've ever experienced. It could really put us into the stratosphere. So that is such a huge opportunity. We've moved a lot of our attention to that. And you'll be hearing more about that in 6 months-ish. So that's all I can say. Pardon me. David Holland, another +1 on the boat shoe. Jesus, I know I can read. Another +1 for the boat shoe from me. There we go. So David, again, go to zeroissues.com/feedback and leave that suggestion. Phil Capper, the OG HFS gone forever. Great question. The HFS 2, we did a survey from people who had the original HFS and the HFS 2 and said, which do you like better? 50-50, right down the middle. So I would like the original one to come back. And we've been talking about that. And I think we have a plan for that. But again, I don't store all this in my head. So A, leave that at zeroissues.com/feedback. And B, you nailed the name. I think it's going to have to be HFS OG. Since we have HFS 2, we can do HFS OG. In the meantime, though, if you want something that feels very, very similar, the Zelen up there's other colors other than that, yellow and whatever one, but it's the same sole as the original HFS, as is the Forza Runner. They're different products. So hold on. So this one, the Zelen, is, you can see, sort of a cage construction rather than having everything kind of hiding underneath inside the shoe. And so it still has a tongue, so you can still adjust, but the adjustment is coming from kind of the cage doing this. And then I don't think I have a Forza Runner up here. That one is totally a sock or booty construction. So very, very different flavor, but same sole on that. So hopefully that'll be helpful. But again, leave that suggestion at feedback. Russell, my only issue with the shoes, yikes, I just scrolled up, is that I have to bring them to my chiropractor who recommended this to me. And they have to install heel chips and sometimes cut the insert that's inside of the shoes. Other than that, this product is minimalist. Other than that, this product and minimalist barefoot shoes have changed my life. You're a great example of my favorite thing, which is, do what you need to do. We're a big fan of trying to let your feet be as natural as humanly possible, obviously. But if there's some special condition, that makes things work better for you, ideally that isn't getting in the way of your foot moving properly so that you're not, basically putting your foot in a cast, like putting your arm in a cast, then do what you would do. It's funny. People will get like a normal shoe, and if they go, oh, I don't like this, they'll go to Target and they'll buy an insole or some moleskin, or basically they'll do whatever they need to do to modify it. But when people pick up a minimalist shoe, they often think, oh no, that's the way it is, nothing you can do to change it, can't adapt it to any way. Of course you can. So do what you need to do is the best thing I can say. And of course, one thing you can do is, again, you can play with this sock liner, take it out if you need to take it out, keep it in and modify it if you need to. Do what you need to do to make yourself happy. Kosher Vids. The new Mesa shoes of the trail shoes have more rubber. Wait, what? The new Mesa trail shoes have more rubber and restrict. I don't know what you mean, because the Mesa Trail waterproof is the exact same outsole as the Mesa Trail. It's a little more stiff because there's a waterproof membrane in it, so which has to be glued in there as well. So all waterproof shoes are slightly more stiff than the non-waterproof versions because there's extra layers of stuff. But if you're referring to something else, I'm not sure, but happy to let you, happy to try again. So I'll answer more intelligently. Name you gave me, would you ever design a boot for the military? If you mean something that looks military-ish, like a tactical boot, on our to-do list, and again, go to zeroissues.com/feedback to let people know that's what you're looking for. If you mean something for the military, the challenge there is, if we want it to be standard, we'd love to. Getting product into the military is really difficult. It just takes a long time. And if it's going to be standard issue, the product has to be 100% made in America. And there are very few ways to, well, it's next to impossible to do that. It's the best thing I can say. The couple companies that are making standard issue footwear for the military, one, I won't mention it by name, loses money on every pair. They did it as a promotional thing, and it's gotten them into trouble because it made people think that all their shoes were made in America. And nope, that is not true. So been a bit of a challenge for them. So we would love to, and we know that there's been a demand for natural movement footwear in the military. So we're starting actually where we can do it easily with special forces, because they have their own credit cards. They can buy whatever the hell they want. And we've got a bunch of special forces and special ops guys who love our stuff already. So we're doing some stuff with them. And again, that project that I mentioned about the work boot, that's also taken some time away from some of the military stuff as well. This is the problem with being, let's say, a small company in the footwear world. We become big enough that people are like, whoa, that's pretty big. But in the footwear world, we're still pretty tiny. And so we don't have the resources to do everything we want as quickly as we want. Happily, because we're growing as fast as we are, that's changing pretty quickly. So I expect within a year or so, we're going to be able to do more stuff more quickly. We'll see. Chris, do you love it when celebs wearing Xero shoes? Yes, Wim Hof wears the HFS. I reached out to his son who's running the business. I talked to Wim like 13 years ago. We had a really great chat. He is nuts in a way that I adore. I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, but yeah, he's got the HFS, and I've reached out to them a number of times to see if we can do something together. I haven't heard back, but it happens not infrequently. I think I'm allowed to say this because what the hell? We got a bunch of people sending us pictures about a year ago or so with Billie Eilish wearing our shoes, and her trainer wears our shoes and got Billie into it. Ewan McGregor has been seen in our shoes, and he's happy to let us tell people that. Who else did I see celebrity-wise? I've seen a few recently. Oh man, I'm blanking. I was watching some movie, and Lane and I went, "What?" And there they were in a pair of Prios. So yeah, I adore it. Kosher Vids, I don't like the new bottoms on the trail running shoes and the HFS to go up higher. HFS is the same design. Oh, the sole. Okay, I get it. So I'm a little confused because on the HFS 2, hold that thought. Where is it? So this part of the shoe is exactly the same as the original HFS. So this is not any higher from where your foot rests in the shoe to where this is no higher. So I'm a little perplexed. And you don't like the bottoms of the trail running shoes, but again, I'm a little confused because this is the same sole we've been using since this shoe came out. So I'm not sure what it is you don't like comparatively, because literally it hasn't changed. So, but give our customer happiness team a call, let them know what's going on, send photos. We'll see what we can do to be helpful. When I see a celeb, yeah, you are correct. Back to you for the win. Chris, Phil, I have 2 pairs of Zellin. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you. The original HFS is my favorite. I do have a pair of Zellin. Good to know. That's from Inga. And again, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback. Russell, the reason for it is I get a negative tilt, and that's bad for my feet. This is going back by the way, I have a really hard time following conversations in between. You may have noticed, but now I know what I was referring to. So cool. So yeah, whatever, again, whatever works for you. It's the bottom line. Kosher Vids, have to check again. Yeah, please do. That'd be great. Oh, sorry. It's the Scrambler and the HFS 2. They have wait, I'm really perplexed. So again, I'm trying to think of how to describe this. The rubber doesn't go up. I mean, on the HFS, it's definitely flat, and there's this one little section where the rubber goes up, but I don't know how that restricts your ankle, because in fact, on the Scrambler, this part is lower than the HFS. And hold on, I'm going to measure it right now for the fun of it. I am that kind of guy. So I'm going to measure from inside to here. Let's see if I got it. Okay, that's that measurement. Yeah, they're the same. So actually, wait, hold on. Let me do it again. I'm going to do it from here. Let's see if I'm getting this right, because I'm on a slightly different spot. There we go. Okay, that's that. That's that. They're either identical or the Scrambler is like 2 millimeters lower. So again, send photos to our customer happiness team, ask them for some advice or help, because what you're describing, I'm perplexed by it. I'm not saying you're incorrect. I'm just saying I'm not seeing it. So maybe something happened with the pair that you got. These are made by humans. So maybe that. But again, the low rubber, that's literally not making a difference, because the rubber, I mean, while this is extending up, I don't have the original HFS with me. While this is extending up a tiny, it's actually not, is the fake out. If I have the original one, it's maybe a millimeter higher. I'm not sure, wrapping around here, but that doesn't change this height at all. It doesn't change this part at all. So again, my apologies, but I don't have a good answer because I'm not seeing it. So again, reach out to our customer happiness team, take a gander and see what you find. Thank you. Particular. Hey, Steve. Hey, Particular. The name you gave me. Yes, the celebs I've seen, basketballers with really bad feet. The shoes they should use, they should check out Xero Shoes. We have a bunch of basketball players who are wearing our stuff off the court. And it's really fun to see. There was a video, I don't remember if it was TikTok or Twitter, during the NBA Finals. Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat comes in wearing a pair of our Dylans. And I hear he is wearing them not only, I hate when that does that, wearing them not only off the court, but in the gym, and also when he was doing a shoot around to warm up. So that was pretty cool to see. Let's see. And yeah, basketballers typically have horrible feet. Kosher Vids, my foot resting lower in the shoe in the high rubber design. Again, I hear what you're saying. I just don't see it when I'm looking at the geometry of the shoe. The rubber going around is not changing the height from where your foot rests to where the thing is. But again, we don't need to argue about it. There's nothing I can do over here. So again, it may just be you. I don't know. That's why I'm saying reach out to our customer happiness team, support@xeroshoes.com, tell them what you're experiencing, and ideally send pictures so we can see what's going on. They'll pass it on to the product team. We'll see if there's a solution for you. All righty. Rob, will upcoming shoes come to Europe at the same time as the US, or is there a delay? A little bit of both. So we're launching, I think, 6 new shoes for the spring, or not necessarily, well, one's an upgrade at least. And I know that for xeroshoes.eu, I don't know if we're doing all of them at one time. And then similarly for, xeroshoes.co.uk, I'm not sure if we're doing all of them right away. And it's simply because of what warehouse space, especially for .co.uk, and cost as well. And because some things are getting stuck in the red because of the Red Sea with, I don't know if you know about the shipping problems there. So I don't remember, unfortunately, which of those may be coming a little later. We just started xeroshoes.eu a year and change ago, and xeroshoes.k just a few months ago. And we're getting as quickly as we can to the point where everything is on par. So all 3 stores have all of our products and getting them all at the same time. Jake, my dad's bone spurs in his feet went from so bad I can't walk without cushion to walking in socks is perfectly fine in less than a year, and your shoes were the difference. That is wonderful to hear. Thank you, Jake. And say thumbs up to your dad. Baron, what type of shoe have you not been able to make yet, but you want to? That is a really good question. Okay, I got a couple. One is something that I invented, and it's, I mean, I didn't know this at the time, but it's based on, well, it's not based on, it's similar to a Japanese footwear design that's been around for probably thousands of years. And I came, space boots, and I come back to that. And I did a version of that just because I was playing around with materials, and I put something on my foot and I was experimenting and came up with this really cool idea. I can't really describe it other than I'll tell you, I call it the leaf, but I'll leave it at that. Anyway, our product guy at the time, when he went to work with our factories, and I had been saying, hey, let's do something like this, he had them make it mostly just to shut me up because he's been, doing product development for 35 years. I had never done it. And so he had the factory make this shoe, and everybody in the factory said, when are we going to make this for real? I want that. So it's an unusual design. And what we discovered is that the more you make something unusual, the more polarizing it could be, which means if we made it, it could sell a lot or it could sell nothing, but we didn't have the money to risk that. So that one's on my list. The work boot is on my list. We haven't been able to do that. Space boots, I actually love that. I've been watching For All Mankind on whichever streaming service that's on, and I keep looking at that going, space boots, that'd be awesome. I actually did some consulting for a graduate team that was working on new space products, and I talked to them about what they should do. I don't know what happened with that. Let's see, wait, I'm trying to think if there's another shoe that I really want to do. Well, I'm a competitive sprinter. For if you don't know, for men over 60, I'm like the 25th, somewhere in there, fastest guy in the country. I have an idea for a sprinting spike that doesn't have spikes. That's really cool. We're still working on that. Right now, I train and compete in our Speed Force, which is there. And I'm wearing them now. I don't know why I just didn't lift my foot up. But wait, what else is on my list that we haven't been able to do? Oh, man. I know there's something that's just not coming to my brain at the moment. Oh, driving shoe is also on my list. There's a product that we're coming out with in a month or so that I've been working on for 5 years, maybe a little longer, that I'm really happy with finally. It took a long time to come up with the hardware to make it work. And I finally redesigned the hardware to make that work. Oliver's setting me up. He says, what's your opinion on comfortable shoes? And I know he's setting me up. I'm hoping you're setting me up because you've seen my video that says, I don't wear comfortable shoes. I refuse to wear comfortable shoes, and you should too. And what I mean by that is that what most people call comfort is shoes with a whole bunch of cushioning and a whole bunch of padding and a whole bunch of arch support. And I hate those because it's bad. They're all bad for you. Cushioning sounds ironic. I talked about it before. The more cushioning you have, it doesn't change anything to the impact forces. In fact, it tends to increase impact forces. There's no amount of cushioning that actually cushions. None. I know that sounds crazy. Or not really cushions is the best thing I can say. Arch support, put your arm in a cast and support the elbow. All the muscles, ligaments, and tendons around that joint, the elbow, get weak. Put in arch support in your feet. All the muscles, ligaments, and tendons around that arch, call it your entire foot, gets weak. That's research from Katrina Protopopos and others that showed that in just 12 weeks, you can lose up to 17% of the muscle mass and strength in your foot by supporting your foot. Those are the two big comfort things. Then, rocker bottoms, they're useless. Flared soles, they don't work. They actually make it so you're more likely to sprain an ankle. What's the word I'm looking for? Motion control, pronation or supination control doesn't work. So all those things that are built for comfort, they've never been proven to be beneficial for you. And by never, I mean never. So that's my opinion on comfortable shoes. Okay. Shaler, I'm a teacher and my new Glens are solving my foot pain, waiting on a brown size 11 to be in stock. Thank you. I'm really wonderful to hear it. And I know they're coming back. I, again, don't know when. If you reach out to our customer happiness team, support@zeroshoes.com, they can tell you. Monica, I'm looking forward to the new shoes, you and me both. The name you gave me, after using my Zero shoes, I wanted to test my old shoe my sister bought me. And after a day of use, my legs started shaking. I had that happen. I had to go to court for something. And this is when we hadn't made shoes. And I needed an all black shoe. And I had like an old Nike Free that I had made that was all black. And 2 days of just walking back and forth from the parking lot to the courtroom and back. By the way, I prevailed. My knees were shot. I mean, it was just embarrassing because basically they had a high enough heel that I'm jamming on the heel, which is sending force right into my knees, which were a little sensitive at that point. Baron, which shoe so far has been the biggest surprise? That one. I mean, so this is the Prio, that lunar color. So our product developer, Dennis, when he was here, he's still alive. When he was working, he retired last year. When he came up with that color pattern, I went, are you kidding me? I don't think so. And it became the #1 seller. So that was a big surprise. So I'm trying to think what else we have. It was a big surprise. Oh, you know what? The Mika. This was a huge surprise for us because we had never developed something that was kind of, fashion forward for women. And frankly, it was the most expensive shoe that we had made at that time. And we were really, really, really nervous. And so we went, all right, here we go. And they sold out in like 6 weeks. And then we brought them in and they sold out again. And so that was probably our biggest surprise. Put that back there. The name you gave me, I have those. I love them. Those, they're great. Basil or Basil, I don't know. The Zero most comfortable shoes I've ever worn. You've made my point. So once you get rid of all those things for comfort shoes, letting your feet do what's natural is going to be the most comfortable thing. And name you gave me, the Prio, not the boot. Yeah, that was my guess. I guessed that correctly. All right. So FYI, we've been on here for 38 minutes. Oh, wait, Rob, how about a set of different colored strings for the back of the Prio Speed Force to swap on a daily mood? You can do it for the Speed Force. Can you do it for the Prio? You can. Yeah. Interesting question. So do me a favor, submit that as a request, because this has actually come up about laces too. And again, go to zeroshoes.com/feedback and leave a request. And I like the idea, actually. You can only do it for the heel straps, obviously, but I think it's a fun idea. So submit that. We'll see what happens. Have we thought about sponsoring or funding a study to help prove your case on shoes? Yep. There are a couple studies going on where mostly we're just providing footwear because we don't want to make it look like there's some conflict. So there are about 4 studies going on right now that I'm very much looking forward to seeing the results to. One is about balance, especially for the elderly. One is about plantar fasciitis. One is about strength. Can't remember what the 4th one's about. So we're in the process of doing that. People are reaching out to us and saying, hey, can you give us shoes so we can test these things? Like, absolutely. Dan Lieberman at Harvard, he's doing some testing using our Jessie sandal because he needed to look at what the foot is doing, and that sandal gets out of the way more than anything else we have. And there's another researcher at the University of Wisconsin, Madison, who just asked us for a bunch of those shoes for a similar reason. So yeah, we're looking forward to a bunch of research coming out with our stuff. Oliver, I've had lots of injuries due to weak feet and ankles. Would it be bad to transition now since barefoot shoes can be kind of a shock at first? Think of it like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym for your first workout and do 8 hours of bicep curls. You go in, you do like 1 set with less weight than a weight that's embarrassingly light. And then you see how you feel the next day. And if you're sore, you wait till you're not sore and you do it again until you can do that set and those reps without being sore. And then you can add a rep or add a set at some point or add a little weight. Whatever you need to do, you build up slowly. Same idea for barefoot. So the first thing, just take off your shoes, walk around the house. Simple. Take off your shoes, walk to the, if it's not too abrasive, walk to the mailbox or walk to the corner and walk back. There's research showing that merely walking in minimalist shoes, like Zero shoes, even though the study was done with a different shoe because we didn't have shoes at that time or we would have given them to that study, builds foot strength as much as doing an actual exercise program for your feet. You can also do exercises for your feet. If you look up foot strengthening exercises on YouTube, you'll find a whole bunch. They're really great to do. So you just want to start slow, build it up based on how you feel. I love saying don't do too much too soon, but of course the only way you did too much too soon is if you do too much too soon. But if you're just walking at first, what you're going to feel is, you just used your feet like you went to the gym. That should be a good sign. You don't want to be too intense, and it usually won't be. It'll just be a little sore for a day maybe. But that's the way you want to think about it. Think about it like going to the gym. If you haven't, used your feet and ankles for a while, but they tend to build up pretty quickly, has been my experience, is that foot and ankle strength can happen very quickly. There was actually some research that was just on using our shoes to see if strength and balance improved in as little as 4 weeks. And the answer was yes, but not statistically significant on strength, and yes, but statistically significant for dynamic balance. So what happens if you're moving, trying to reach down and grab something, for example? So that was really encouraging. We knew that there was already research showing that all of these things improve within 6 weeks. Within 8 weeks instead of 4 weeks. And we know there's obviously longer term studies about 6 months. And what happens for you is different for you than anybody else. So there's no one answer like do this for 4 weeks and you'll be fine. It depends on you. So just think, but here's what I like to say. If you break your arm and you put it in a cast, when you take it out, you have 2 choices. Keep it in a sling and never use it again, or do some exercises until you can get back to using it for the rest of your life. Same thing with your feet. If it takes 6 months to build up enough strength in your feet that you can run, walk, play, do whatever you want in bare feet or in a pair of Zero shoes, and you can have your feet support you for the rest of your life, that's a worthwhile investment, don't you think? Alrighty. Baron says, wow to both of those. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Anyone have a pair of Nexus knits? Yeah, lots of people do because we can't keep them in stock. We've sold many, many, many thousands of pairs. But if you're asking people here, then they can respond. Baron, Gate Happens. They're friends of ours, Jen and Courtney. So I'm not sure if you're asking me something about the Gate Happens women, but they are delightful. Mark is saying yes, maybe that's about a pair of Nexus knits, and you can tell Baron how much you like them. You can also just look at the reviews on our website and see what you find there. You'll see a bunch of people love that shoe. Actually, I don't know if that was a biggest surprise. When we designed that, we knew it was going to do really well. But again, we just can't keep it in stock practically. It is blowing out the door. We just brought a bunch more in, and they are moving. Jarrell says, I love my Nexus knits. There you go. Mark, they're very comfortable. So you're getting some answers from Baron. All right, I want to start wrapping this up just because I have to go pick up my dog at doggy daycare. And so last set of questions. If you have any, throw them in now. And I'm just going to do a quick couple of announcements of some sort. So a reminder, if you have any questions or issues, reach out to our customer happiness team. It's all in the little graphic down there, support@zeroshoes.com. We have 23 people who are happy to help you. And if you have any feedback, any requests about old products that you want to have come back, colors that you want to see or see again, new products that you want to see, or anything else you can think of that's like a suggestion or feedback about product, go to zeroshoes.com/feedback and leave it there. Ideally, if you can send us photos of things that are relevant, a color you want to see, a style you want to see, that's really, really helpful. So that would be good. That's how our product team knows what to do next. A reminder, we do have 6 products that are getting launched, kind of 5.5 really. 5.5 products that are getting launched and that'll make sense when you see the product launch video, in about 3.5 weeks. So if you're not already getting our newsletter, then please go to zeroshoes.com/newsletter and sign up for that so you'll hear about these new products. When we do a product launch, we do a discount of some sort, and we almost always sell out of something that we didn't anticipate would be, really, really hot. So we'll give you a chance to get in early to make sure you can get what you want, but you definitely want to hear about it sooner rather than later. Mark, any updates on work shoes and boots? I mentioned it before. The simple answer is no. The bigger answer is it's because something else, an opportunity has shown up that is so much bigger than the work boot possibility that we've had to focus our attention on that new thing that you'll be hearing about probably in about 6 months. The name you gave me, Makes. I don't know what that's referring to. Oh, there. Zero Shoes makes the best shoes in the entire world. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. Ask Me Anythings are great. Thanks. It's my pleasure. I'm sure you can tell I enjoy doing this. In fact, I just want to do the thing that I say at the end of every one of these. Thank you all for not only being here, but for being part of what I call the Movement, which, by the way, is my podcast. So if you search for the Movement, or go to jointhemovementmovement.com, you will find more info about that podcast, which is super, super fun. And I do these Ask Me Anythings typically on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. If we have to change that, we have to change it every now and then, but usually 3rd Tuesday of every month. Lena and I and the rest of the Zero Shoes team, which is now about 100 people, including people at our warehouse, et cetera, we could not be more grateful. I just got interviewed for a big deal, not even a podcast, just a big deal video that's going to be on YouTube, on a very popular YouTube channel. And Lena and I both said the thing that gets us out of bed in the morning is hearing stories like the ones we've heard about people saying, hey, these things have changed my life. And that's why we do this. We're just trying to change the world by getting people into footwear that's actually good for you instead of causing problems. And someone asked me, what if, one of the big companies stole this idea? It's like, great, then we won. We're not trying to become, the next fill in the blank. We're trying to be helpful. And if the way we're helpful is by getting all the other companies to stop doing dumb shit and start making shoes that are actually good for you, then we're thrilled. But we're also thrilled that, we've been able to be part of this journey with you all. So, oh my gosh, question I missed. Any way to do collaborations with anime inspired shoes? Depends on what you mean by anime inspired. So if it's just decorative things, possibility, and we're actually having some conversations about that. Chris, oh my God, any updates coming to the Alpine Winter Boot? They've been around for a bit, so curious if there are updates coming. That's a great question. Since we're moving out of winter technically into spring soon, nothing in the immediate future, but for fall possibly. But I don't have that in my head. If there's some specific thing you want as an update to the Alpine, leave that at zeroshoes.com/feedback because there's still time to make that happen. Okay. Anyway, once again, couldn't thank you all enough. Oh, the other thing is the number one thing that has grown our business is people like you who have had wonderful experiences, want to share that with other people, is the fact that you shared that with other people, that you're willing to stop and talk to the strangers who stop you on the street and say, hey, what are those? Or, hey, aren't those Zero Shoes? Hey, didn't I see those on Shark Tank? So, this is something, this whole idea of spreading the word, this is not something that we're doing alone. We're all doing this. You're all part of our Zero Circle, the worldwide community of people who've discovered the comfort, fun, performance benefits of natural movement. And so, thank you for everything you're doing. Okay, a couple quick questions. I'll do it. Sean, I'm one of those people. I shattered my ankle 10 years ago, and these shoes have helped the daily pain. I love hearing that. William, I love your shoes, but using them for years. I've been using them for years. I hate the traction issues with the soles. They're dangerous on wet tile floors. Two things. We have a slip-resistant Prio. Nope, that's not it. There's a slip-resistant version of the Prio somewhere. The word on that is it's super, super sticky. And the challenge is we can't violate the laws of physics. So sometimes, just as a quick aside, I have some videos on the website of people running full speed across ice. If you're running full speed and you're landing with your feet underneath you, you can't slip. Same thing with hiking. If you're landing with your feet underneath you, really impossible to slip. If you're overweighting, like putting your foot out and kind of putting weight on it before it's under you, that can be problematic as well. So form is often an issue. But yeah, so William, look at the Prio All Day SR for slip resistant, and which actually people have said is really good on ice too. But this is something that we frankly are working to improve. But again, there's times where something is slippery because everything is slippery in that situation. And but again, let us know what products you're experiencing that issue with, and we'll see what's going on with what we're doing to always improve. The Ridgeway, a very different tread, very different everything. So I don't know how that works in those situations. I'm not really sure, but I'm playing with it right now. It's nice and sticky on the table. All that said, once again, comments and questions, issues that you want to bring up, talk to our customer happy to see them, recommendations and suggestions, zeroshoes.com/feedback. More importantly, get out of here, go have fun and live life feet first. Be well.